Welcome to a busted play. An illegal use of hands to the face short. Backup quarterbacks. We know them. We love them. When the team's not doing well, they're the best player on the roster. Who in the 2021 NFL season is going to be the best backup quarterback, Hayden?
Well, excluding the rookie quarterbacks, because you gave me
Course,
that
of course.
qualification before we started. Otherwise, I'd just name all of them. Um, Names popped into my head. Mariota, just because I love him. You've also got Taylor Heineke, who we're big fans of, but he could be a starter, so we can't necessarily say that. I feel like the only guy that I can say is an obvious backup that I really feel like could come in and win games for his team, even if the starter went down, is Case Keenum. I think that's the only guy that I saw kind of do things in Minnesota like 3-4 years ago now, where he took an offense and actually had pretty decent stats in it. He obviously didn't have anything insane, but he threw 22 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. That's a really good ratio for a backup quarterback. And I just think he's like the only one who could come to mind when I was thinking who is like really obviously a backup somewhere that I would really trust with my team. Maybe I'm selling Mitchell Trubisky short now, but I don't know. Case Keenum's the only guy that really came to my mind that I wanted to go with and say this guy is who I would want if I had to take one guy from a team that is obviously a backup quarterback, because I didn't want to include guys that could win a starting job this season or anything like that.
Yeah. For backup quarterbacks for me, I kind of look at the talent drop off from starter to backup and then the similarities between the starter and backup. And Case Keenum, he fits exactly that. Between Baker and him, not that much of a significant drop off, though he has his role of backup. Like he's not going to be fighting Baker for the starting spot. And both him and Baker do things well. They read the field well. They make easy throws look easy. They don't make stupid decisions. They manage a game well. Yeah. Mitchell Trubisky, I feel like we're both kind of selling him short. I don't know. He could slide in well to that Bills starting spot, but he's not as much of an athlete as Allen is. So I think the playbook would kind of get cut down a little bit. Not that the Bills are really running QB power anymore. It's not Allen's rookie season, but
Well, we just don't want to
I
get too biased here. That's
yeah,
always
yeah,
tough.
that's the thing.
I'd be really interested to see what would happen if Allen got hurt this season. I guess I'd feel more confident than I did with Barkley, but still, I mean, not nearly as close to Allen. Whereas, like, you think about the Browns and them losing Baker, I don't think it kills them as much as something
No.
like the Bills losing Allen and dropping to Trubisky. I don't think it kills
Hmm.
the Browns nearly as much.
Yeah. Just there's other guys too around the league, like Gardner Minshew. You and I both agree that he's good. Even like the stat nerds of the NFL agree that Gardner Minshew is good. But it's just you're not going to like him and Trevor Lawrence. It's like, eh.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's interesting because I don't know if I want to pick a guy who I don't know what team he's going to be on. Like he could be a
mhm.
starter. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it may be surprising if somebody trades for him and he's a starter this upcoming season, but I mean, it could still happen because it doesn't look like he's going to be on the Jaguars at the start of the year.
yeah. And I think the most unsung hero of all backup QBs is going to be Davis Mills in Houston.
You mean starter Davis Mills in Houston?
Eventually, something's gonna happen to Tyrod. Something always does,
I mean,
and Davis
isn't
Mills is gonna get that start.
I mean Davis Mills, like, the funny thing is if Deshaun Watson's still on the roster, then what happens to Davis Mills is now Davis Mills is my fourth QB in that depth chart, um, behind Watson, Tyrod Taylor, Ryan Finley, and then finally Davis Mills is the fourth guy
No,
on the
they
list.
cut Ryan Finley because they signed Jeff Driscoll, so he's
What?
still four. But
Is that really that big of an upgrade? Or what's
I
David Culley doing?
I don't know. I don't know. And I know we said we wouldn't talk about rookie QBs, but Davis Mills, he's just such a seasoned vet at this point coming out of Stanford that I don't even view him as a rookie quarterback.
Yeah,
Though it will be hilarious if Deshaun Watson comes back and they end up cutting the guy that they spent their first draft pick on. Because it's like, well, we can't have five QBs.
I
We
don't
can only have 8 running backs. We can't have five
I
QBs.
don't
Come
think
on.
they could do that. I think then they would have to cut Driscoll. Even if they didn't want to, they would have to because they can't cut a
Yeah.
draft pick that early.
Yeah.
No, backup QB situations are very interesting though.
Oh yeah.
Like you said with Mariota the other day, I mean that's just like kind of an excitement thing for Raiders fans if he ever steps on the field. You just get a little more mobility in that, and that type of thing can make it more fun. But yeah, Taylor Heineke too. He would add more mobility to Washington's offense. And there's a bunch of guys like that. I mean, if you're gonna get a crappier guy, at least make the entire defensive game plan change, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess.
I mean, get a statue. The other guy that I was considering saying, just because this was a really quick thought, but I don't necessarily think I hate it, but I don't know if it's as much as the coach said it is. Bruce Arians said recently that Blaine Gabbert is the most underrated player in the entire NFL. Don't know if you heard that, but
Oh,
yeah,
I heard that.
yeah, he did, and I don't know. I don't want to say I disagree with him because, I mean, I've seen Blaine Gabbert get the job done before when I didn't expect him to. So, I mean, put him on the field with the rest of that loaded roster, who knows what would happen.
Yeah, and I think we're just proving Bruce Arians right here, not talking about Blaine Gabbert. He's that underrated that we just he's not even in contention for best backup QB
I mean, Tom
because
Brady.
Kyle Trask is going to be the red zone threat.
Yeah, yes, that's true. Tom Brady tore his ACL basically the year before I started watching football. So basically, I've never had like a deep a deep concept of Brady not being on the field. Like that just doesn't cross my mind very often. So yeah, that's kind of why the Bucks backups fall out for me too.
Hmm. Yeah, it's wild times. I mean, Denver, they just have a wild QB situation going on. No one's really a backup there yet. Uh,
Yeah, and that's why
that
I
goes
didn't
for a
want to
lot of
pick
other
those
teams.
guys. But the thing
Hmm.
is that if Drew Lock is the starter, then I want to pick Bridgewater. If Bridgewater's the starter, I don't want to pick Drew Lock.
Yeah, yeah.
Just trade for Gardner Minshew, and that's the reason for this video.
Hmm. Every team should trade for Gardner Minshew. Actually, no. Only the teams that need a starting QB should trade for Gardner
No,
Minshew
every
because we want
team
to see him
should
play.
trade for Gardner Minshew
Every
and start him.
every team should trade their backup quarterback straight up for Gardner
Patrick
Minshew.
Mahomes for Gardner Minshew straight up. They
Ooh.
swap jerseys for each team they play for. I mean, number
Because it
15
would
and
just
number
be awkward
15.
if he was the backup QB there. It's
Yeah.
just like Pat Mahomes has to give up his number at that point.
Yeah, he wore 5 in college. He can change it.
Yeah, don't be selfish.
All right, y'all set here.
Yeah, I think we can cut it here.